about to take that terrifying first breath. The medicine she craved was distraction. They arrived at the bonobo enclosure, the area blocked off from the tourists. Today, these animals were for her appreciation alone. Inside the plexiglass walls was a hill with a climbing structure on it and a small pond at the base of it, a few milk crates scattered about. Realizing something was up, the 14 bonobos were clustered near the glass, watching the path for whatever change was about to arrive, the crowd of them reminiscent of the researchers waiting for Frankie's car. In appearance, they looked like the chimps she'd passed, only the bonobos were a touch skinnier and less muscled. Their fur softer, their lips red, their eyes thoughtful. Think of a video montage where a human turns into a wild beast, hair sprouting, brow slanting, jaw jutting. If the chimp is the final image, the bonobo is a second earlier. In front stood one bonobo. Her stance was not a chimp's, bandy-legged as a cowboy with the barrel-shaped chest heaved up, her torso ready at any moment to fall back onto all fours. No, she stood as a human does, comfortably upright, legs straight, her face turned to the researchers as though they just called her name. And, unlike the rest of the bonobos, her body was balding and her head utterly hairless. Perhaps an autoimmune disease or the effect of aging. What little hair remained on her body was no longer thick enough to be called fur, closer perhaps to the sparseness of chest hair. She stood there, wiry and short, her skin the gray of putty, a naked Gandhi with jug ears staring into Frankie's eyes. Actually, all of the bonobos were looking at Frankie. Staring not at the whole group of researchers, but at Frankie, her face. As though they'd followed the coverage in the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, the upswing in genetic testing, the outings of public figures and past presidents, and were surprised to spot her here. It took Frankie a moment to realize the animals must know all the researchers who worked here. She was the only stranger. Studies had shown even a sheep could recognize up to 50 faces. Dr. Bellows began to speak, his voice awkward. The particular, behavior you'd be researching, the behavior that bonobos are famous for, happens primarily before mealtimes. As though making excuses for them, he continued. The behavior is used to ease tensions, to calm down any conflict over the food. Would you like me to— Feed him, she said. Bellows nodded, and a researcher obediently jogged off around the corner of the building. Frankie waited. The animals continued to study her, in their half-circle, positioned as though she was about to lecture them, or they about to interrogate her. She gestured with her chin at the bald bonobo's confident stance. She asked, Alpha female? Yes, said Bellows. She runs the show, that's Mama. Mama? Frankie asked, the rising lilt of her question making her sound like a needy child. Mama, answered Bellows, letting the word fall heavy like the name of a mafia don. From the silence around them, she guessed most of the researchers worked with other apes here at the Foundation and felt comfortable with what was about to happen. She pointed her chin at the kiosk next to Bellows. It displayed a large photo of a bonobo waving high. There was a panel with many buttons on it. She asked, What's that? He said, Some of the bonobos were raised with sign language. This is a way to communicate with them. Really? Asked Frankie. Seated, she couldn't see which two buttons he pressed, but the avatar of a female bonobo appeared on the plexiglass between the humans and the bonobos, off to the side and a few feet up, so she didn't block the exhibit. Her hands gestured in sign language as she spoke the words, saying, Human, hello. Her voice was loud, the condescending cheer of a kindergarten teacher.